Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. You can listen to us on Crossroads podcast live on radio. But the trouble is, why, what, why kind of like sit there and listen while you can watch Kim and Lisa. I've never met Kim before. So what have you got, Kim, to do with this lot now? Have you just joined this lot, have you? This
So
crazy
originally I
gang?
joined. I originally joined as Duster Buster in Altogether Tavern, and then I'm sort of not just in Altogether Tavern, but I've also joined the script writing team in a very short amount of time. So yeah, I've gone from being casted as this very OCD like character, which apparently is perfect. Apparently for me, to getting to write future projects, which I'm excited for, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your background.
Okay, so I come from a bit of an acting background. I'm also a stand-up comedian. So I feel like definitely when the role of Duster Buster got offered to me, I was like, okay, I can do a lot with this. I can really harness this. So I've been doing acting on and off for about 10 years, give or take, on and off. Because anyone who knows actors, they you get started and then you realize you're not going anywhere yet, so then you go, oh, am I doing this right? And then you're like, actually, let's give it another go. But I've been doing stand up for about 4 years. So it's a lot of fun. So, like I say, Duster Buster is a perfect role, I think.
So, what is your role then? What is just a buster?
So, Duster Buster, Lisa's looking at me like, you should know this by now. So, Duster Buster is a cleaner in the tavern. And let's just say, he's got a little bit of a thing for his dustpan and brushes. He's got, you call it an obsession, I call it definitely having a obsession. So yeah, he's an interesting character. Most of the time, he's just nuts. I think, without giving too much away about him, he's absolutely nuts, and I think the audience are going to like him. He's funny, and he's. I think someone's going to relate to him. We all know that one person who's just completely off the rails with like dust and everything. I think, anyway.
But can you imagine it? You have got some kind of like nutty people in the group, ain't you? You got definitely Jane Bucko.
Yeah.
She's nuts.
Mhm.
So with all of you working together, it must be like a kind of like um bit of fun, really. Everybody's having fun and everybody's. Is that what it's like?
Yeah. Well, we had our first table read a couple of days ago, and from just being in that table room alone, I feel like this cast, that everyone involved, not just like the cast, but the creative team as well. The script is brilliant. Like the script, just alone, the script just gives so much potential for where this could go. And I feel like, considering all the nutters we've got in the cast, it sort of feels like a prison day release. I think if you want to look at it, it feels like a prison day release. But yeah, honestly, the script is amazing. And can't wait to bring Duster Buster to whatever screen people watch it on. Really.
Brilliant, brilliant. Lisa, so um, what is the plan then? How long have we? How long can this go to audiences? How long can we kind of like, how long do we have to wait to watch it?
Well, we've just started the script reads on Sunday, and as Kim said, just for a first read, it was absolutely brilliant. Everyone was getting into their characters. So many laughs just between the cast as we were doing the read. So hopefully the audience will relate to the characters. Because as well as a comedy, we're addressing a lot of society issues which will come out more so in later episodes because the pilot is about introducing the characters along with the storyline, which obviously I can't give away. Um, Jane Buckle does get to do a little rap in the pilot, So yeah. If you can excuse me, I am going to put my sunglasses on because, as you know, I'm suffering with really bad hay fever at the moment, and my eyes are literally streaming. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to put my sunglasses on.
No, that's fine. It's
Right.
probably
So
it's probably because you got Jane Booker and Kim going to be in it, and you're,
Yeah.
you're starting to worry now. So you don't need to cry. I think it'll be okay.
but yeah, so we are aiming to film hopefully in September, mid to late September, depending. Obviously, we've got 5 former professional footballers appearing as well. So we have to, where their lives are so busy, we have to accommodate obviously the dates they can do also. And we have got quite a big cast, so we need to ensure that everyone is available for filming. We will be distributing, once filmed, the pilot to networks, and I just hope that it is a comedy. I think you agree, Kim, that is a little bit different to what's out there at the moment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Trying to mix sort of old school comedy with a bit of new comedy, but also addressing, as I said, society issues with each character that I want everybody out there to be relating to. So hopefully everybody will relate to somebody in Altogether Tavern. One of the characters is actually based on my father, who sadly passed away last November. And at the read, it was quite funny to, not funny, but very strange for me to hear an actor saying a couple of sort of his lines that he would say through life. My dad loved to exaggerate things, and you know, such as he was in the SAS and that kind of thing, and he can't even swim. So, you know, to hear an actor portraying my dad, which is Tim Nixon, he's doing a brilliant job at it. So we are doing Altogether Tavern also in memory of my father, Victor Gale, and also in memory of one of my friends, Carol Sherron, who passed away last year through cancer. So they love the pub, which is one of the reasons I did Altogether Tavern as well. It was kind of based on, it's a place where everybody comes together, no matter who you are, what walk of life you're from. It is one place that everybody feels safe, and it's about people getting on no matter what you're going through, and people to not be judgmental. That's the main kind of motto that we want to get across to people.
Good.
But we have to throw some comedy into it. You know, it is a comedy rather than anything else, and you'll see that when you see the characters. Jane Buckle was absolutely brilliant on the script read, as expected. She was fully in her character, fully dressed as her character, as Jane would be. And with each read, it will get, you know, better. I haven't thought too much about it, but I'm even, and Kim, actually, I'll speak to you about this also. I'm thinking of even maybe, and this is a maybe, doing a show at a theatre of Altogether Tavern pilot as well. So yeah, that's something that's sort of in my head, in the pipeline also.
Yeah. Good. I think it's really, really good, and I think especially when you've got people from all different backgrounds joining in. You know, I was speaking to when I was out earlier. I was just gone out for a ride, and all of a sudden, as I was going out, I had a weird phone call, and it was from Brando O'Connell, who does Mrs. Brown Boys and everything. Their team, and because I want to interview actually Buster on it, you know, and I've been waiting for him to get back to me, and they got back to me now, so I got that interview. But the trouble is with anything you do, like with film or, you know, kind of like TV work or kind of plays that you're doing, it's a lot of hard work with the script and everything, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. As a writer myself, it's the script writing is probably for me the hardest part, because when you get this idea, you immediately think, oh great, I can get this idea on paper, nothing's going to go wrong, and then you get about maybe 3 or 4 pages in and you're like, writer's block, and you're like, and you stick there for a while. But then once you get the script finished and you hear your own like lines getting thrown back at you, you sort of get thrown back a little bit. You sort of like, okay, this sounds amazing. And I think Lisa probably agrees with me with that, especially with Altogether Taverns' script, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of the most stressful script reads I've ever done in my life. I was absolutely panicking. I had a glitch with my laptop at the beginning as well, which I was like, oh my God, it had to be me. But yeah, I was so nervous with that read, just wanting and praying for it to do well. And you know what? Credit to the cast and the crew that were on as well. Um, I couldn't have wished for it to be any better. I know that everybody has been casted perfectly. No one else could play any of the roles better than the cast themselves are. They all threw themselves into the script. There was no pauses. There was no people tripping up their lines, even though that they were reading it. And it'll only get better as people, start gelling with the lines, start gelling with the characters that they're speaking to. I was just, I can't express the word. I was so pleased after that script read. Just could not have wished for it to go better. And you
Lisa,
can feel,
I'm trying to get things out of you. So, who are these 5 former professional footballers that you've got coming on board?
yeah, well, we can give them out because their names are out there anyway on the Altogether Tavern Facebook page and Twitter page. It's Mark Crossley, Chris Kirkland, John Parkin, Gordon Davis, and Rob Wilson.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. And that, I bet you that's really good, really, isn't it? You got all these foot. And what's their part in the play then?
So Mark Crossley is playing homeless Harry. Chris Kirkland is playing Ray, the dog trainer. Gordon Davis is Ray, who is a teacher. John Parkin is playing a gambler. And Rob Wilson is playing a landlord of another pub called the Igloo Inn. But he's always at the Altogether Tavern because he prefers it in there, and he's good friends with the landlord Jimbo, which is played by Doug Setters. We also have an award-winning actress who I think Lamisha is about 14 now, 14, 15. She's generally in horror films, so to do her role in Altogether Tavern, she had a say in what the character would be like, called Maisie. Lamisha Lashonte is also featuring in Altogether Tavern, which we are so pleased about. She's done so well. She cares about society. She's absolutely brilliant for her age. And just to go back to the footballers, 3 of them are part of the Walking's Brilliant charity, who raise money for the NHS and mental health charities. They are just starting some walks at the moment, so if anybody can donate to them, it's for such a good cause. We are going to be promoting Walking's Brilliant in Altogether Tavern. We are in partnership with them, but obviously they don't fund us because their money is for charities. So we will be doing it Indiegogo with ourselves to, and we will offer people things like coming on set to meet the cast or the footballers or the Misha, signed photos, posters of cast, that kind of thing, just to get some funding for the project to be as good as it can be, really. But saying that, even without funding, we will still go ahead because it is a good comedy, and also the society issues that we want to address need to be addressed. And we'll sort of see how it goes, really.
Well, if you ever come down the southwest, bring your play down here. I know a nice little theatre that will happily have you here.
Okay,
So
whereabouts are you, Steve?
I'm in Exmouth,
Oh, lovely.
nice little part of the country down near Exeter, but it's not
Yeah.
Exeter. Exeter is a dump. You know what I mean? Sorry, no, I didn't say dump, did I? No, I didn't. It was Kim. He said it was. No, it was. No, no, no. Yeah. So Exmouth is a lovely place. Lovely place. I used to live in Plymouth, and but I moved after when I've been on that terrible television show. We moved away, so we did do nothing wrong. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
Um,
definitely lovely. As long as people, the
yeah,
cast will get there, I mean, it doesn't really matter where the show is. I mean, if people are
yeah,
interested, they'll travel to a show anyway.
yeah. It's a lovely theatre, and I know the guy who owns it, and I'm sure that they will be able to help. So there you go. There's somebody else I know in London, but I'll probably see what I can do about that. But I can't promise anything. But if you were coming down the southwest, that's not a problem. Um, but Tim, the trouble is, as a comedian, because you are a comedian, I've seen some videos and stuff of you,
Yeah,
and I think you are funny, right? But the
yeah.
trouble is, sometimes the trouble is, what you gonna feel like when you kind of like coming from a comedian point of view, going into a play like this? Is it a big difference for you?
Um, I feel like definitely the script with Duster Buster. I think it gives a little bit of leeway for me to sort of play around a lot, so I could easily. It's This is the thing with Duster Buster. You'd think it's just a character that you can go, okay, you have to follow this line, you have to go straight down like this, you can't step out of line, you can't do this or do that, you have to stick to what the script says. But a lot of Duster Buster's dialogue is it leaves the opportunity for improv to happen. There's definitely moments in there where I think I could easily go off script, but I'm probably not going to, just to keep the director happy. But no, it's honestly, I think it's definitely going to be interesting, I think. And I think it's going to be the biggest project I've done in my whole career. But I'm looking forward to it. And like I say, the script is absolutely brilliant. And it is different. It's definitely the most unique thing I've seen in a long while. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah. With the filming, then, Lisa, do you kind of like do it yourself, or have you got a team that comes in and do it?
So when we started Leomina Productions, we have actually put call outs for crew that we hope will grow with the company. They've all been taken on as we are unfunded, being a new production company. But we all want to grow and work together to change that for the future. We don't want to keep chopping and changing cast and crew. We want to keep everyone together as much as possible. So no, we're going to be doing the filming ourselves. We have two brilliant camera crew. We have one of them has lighting and sound. We have an absolutely fantastic senior video editor who also put our trailer for Money Calls Crime together. So we are doing the production ourselves. We are producing it. So from the camera crew, runners, lighting, sound, editing, we are putting the whole production together.
And is that going to cost you quite a lot of money?
Well, this is the thing. Everyone's been taken on for it to be unfunded. Now, then you've got to get everybody together. Obviously, everyone has paid work. So when you're not actually paying for production, it's very difficult to get everyone together, which is why we want to set up the Indiegogo. The Indiegogo also, if we get enough money to pay cast and crew, which would be brilliant, and location, we will also be giving 10% to the Walking's Brilliant charity. With that, though, people not just giving money, they will be getting something back, as I say, from anything from signed photo to actually coming on set to meet cast or the footballers, or I am actually going to part of the Indiegogo, they can actually be an extra on set as well. So
Wow,
we
that
will be giving something back, not just taking your money, if that makes sense.
that'd be. Do you kind of like accept ex-wives at all?
Sorry, except
Ex-wives? I want my ex-wife to come on there, and you can chuck darts at her or whatever, or blow up with some dynamite or something. No, I'm not joking. Well,
you can have a word with Jane Buckle about that one.
Oh, right, okay, I'll get Jane Duckbuckle to do it. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Um, and the trouble is, so Lisa, plays like this and what you're doing, and you got in with that, you got kind of like issues that you want to kind of like, spread out the word about different issues about mental health and everything else that comes with it. Um, what kind of people do you want coming forward, and what kind of help do you need at this moment in time?
The main thing is we want a network to recognise what we're doing, recognise the great cast that we have, the storyline, and what we're trying to get across. As I say, we've got, I can't go into too much detail, but we've got many characters that have had different types of issues. They've all had their bios, so we'll be going into that more. If the pilot does well and get picked up, we'll then do episodes, which the footballers have also agreed that they will appear in. For example, you've got Harry, played by Mark Crossley, who is homeless. Margie, the landlady, which is myself, I let him sort of bathe, give him dinner, etc. But he cleans the tavern, you know, to give something back. We've got a couple that Gaza and Daza, that they used to be in a gang, so they've moved. So it's about trying to get across to people, don't feel you're caught. I mean, gang life is quite rife now.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
We want to show, look, there is a way out, so I can't go too much into storylines, but we want to help people do that. That also goes for our youngster, Maisie, who has no parents. They didn't want to help her, so she's run off homeless, away from a gang, that kind of thing. Just to show, you can get another life. Please don't be caught up in it. There are people out there to help you. There's so many different characters, so many different stories, Steve. Even, Margie and Jimbo have their own landlady and landlord. They have their little backstories as well. Jane Buckle is playing my mum in it, Betty.
Oh my god.
She has.
Right, okay.
She's not happy with Jimbo being a little bit older than me. He doesn't want her around very much. There's so many different. I'd be here all day if I told you every character's stories. But
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Jane?
variety.
Can you imagine Jane being in EastEnders or something?
Well, a lot of a couple of people have said to me with regards to Altogether Tavern that it's very EastEnderish like. I think that's probably come about from my writing because I'm a massive EastEnders fan, and if you gave me the choice to be in a star list film or behind the Queen Vic on EastEnders, I'd choose behind the Queen Vic in EastEnders. Always wanted to be on it. I know I sound like I'm from there as well. So I think that probably shows in my writing. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Kim. There's a little bit of element of EastEnders somewhere in there.
Tim's not saying nothing. He's being careful of what he's saying.
I think if there's a competition between who's the more craziest one, I think Jane would take it 100%. Like nothing can compare Jane Buckle to, like. I think you could easily do a spin-off of just like Jane's character and Duster Buster trying to have like this whole, like what they're like outside the tavern. That's something I'd love to see, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? That's something that could happen.
She's a lovely person, and I remember last Christmas she got in contact with me. She said, "Can I do a pantomime on live on here?" And I said, "Oh, Jane, please, you're not going to ask me, are you?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "How many characters is going to be in it?" She said, "Well, it's going to be my blow-up doll thing. It's going to be like aliens. It's going to be other people, And I was thinking, "Oh, Jane, just get on with it." And apparently, it turned out to be. It was just funny. It was just funny. People loved it. People were cheering up about it. But most of all, people come up to me and said, "Is she a nutter or what?" And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And that's Jane, isn't it? That is Jane, and you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't change her for the world, you know, and Jane shouldn't change for anybody. Jane is Jane, and if you can't have fun around Jane, then you're not worth her time, to be honest with you. You know, she's a lovely,
Have you ever
caring
met?
lady.
Have you met Jane? Have you met Jane personally? In
Not personally, but obviously I've had separate Zoom with her as well and chat on the
yeah.
phone. I feel like I've known her. Obviously, we talk quite often. I feel like I've known her for a long time. You know, a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
The thing is with Jane, she's one of these people that I think whether you see her in your laptop, whether you speak to her on the phone, when you meet her in real life, she's going to be the same.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going on holiday on a holiday camp. I was, and the first time she came in running, and then she did the splits, you know, and it was like in front of a lot of people in a campsite, you know, in the bar and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, what's this? Please, I'm not. My name's not called Steve. My name's Ben or whatever it is, you know. But you know, I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean she doesn't care, you know. I mean there's one part of the script where she kisses someone on the cheek and then does a high kick, and you know most people on the script we would just read their lines, but Jane actually got up, go, and then did a high leg kick. I mean she's just hilarious, you know. She really
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
into it.
How about Karen? Is Karen going to be in this?
Karen Fields.
Yeah.
No, Karen doesn't do acting. She's my senior Muddy Paws Crime person. She's a rock for Muddy Paws Crime and all the stolen dog owners. She's always there. She's always
Yeah.
promoting,
Yeah.
supporting. I know she's in the comments now. She's absolutely brilliant to help. You know, anything with Liamina, anything with our productions to get out there. I mean, you know, we're online till late every night, talking, helping stolen dog owners. Especially the past few days, it's been horrendous. But yeah, no, Karen's a rock, and no matter what she's going through in her life as well, she's always, always, always around for anybody that needs any help. She's fantastic.
Brilliant. I know she does a good job, and both of you do a good job doing about the dogs and everything because there's a lot of dogs been missing, you know, and it's terrible what's going on. Anyway, I wish you the best of luck, every one of you, in what you're doing.
Thank you.
I hope,
Cheers.
and let us know how the show gets on. And Kim, you know, if I see you again, good luck. But should you meet Jane, you know, just put your earplugs on, and you might need them. And but
I
you know,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Dusty Buster is going to definitely be one of the most favourable characters, I think, for an audience. Something very, very different, and nobody could do it better than Kim. And, you know, the thing is, just touching on script, when you write a script, I'm very much for everyone putting their all into their character as well, you know, putting their own feel to their character. And if you need to add a few things onto a line, then so be it. If it works, then it works. And I can see Kim doing that for Dust Buster.
yeah.
Well, considering the audition tape and the multiple accents that he went through like 3 different accents. He started off British, then went American, and then went back to British again. Like, I mean, but it got me the role, so yeah.
How did you? So you had to go for audition then, did you?
So I did a self-tape audition, and whenever I do self-tapes, I'm always like, I'm not going to get this role. I'm not going to get it. And then when Lisa got back to me and said, look, we want you as Duster Buster, I'm like, sweet, cool. But yeah, anyway, I know Lisa's seen the self-tape, and it's literally, he goes through 3 accents during the audition, and it's like, what is going on at that point? But yeah, I definitely think I do agree with Karen's thing earlier about Duster Buster going to give Jane a run for her money. Yeah, that's the spin-off we need to see. Like, that is the spin-off we need to see. But who knows? Who knows?
thank you guys for coming on and
Thank
been
you,
interesting.
Steve.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye bye for now.
Cheers.